Stylist, stop using these 3 phrases if you want your styling business to stand out. That's what we're talking about on today's live. So here's the deal. We're all guilty of saying these 3 phrases, myself included. I've said these things before, okay? But I want us all collectively to stop saying these 3 phrases, okay? Phrase number 1, I help women feel like the best versions of themselves, or I'll help you feel like the best version of yourself. Best version of yourself. We gotta eliminate it, okay? Who here is guilty of ever saying that? And help you become the best version of yourself. Stop, okay? Phrase number 2, I help the outsides match the insides. Who said that as a personal stylist? I know I have before. And the third is some variation. There's like about 1 million different variations that you can put this phrase in. But I help women feel confident, right? Confident, 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 confident. These phrases are so common for personal stylists to throw around. And the reason why I want you to stop using them, it's not that you can't ever use them. Sometimes they just slip out, right? They're just so easy. But the reason I want you to stop with that shit is because personal stylists are becoming more and more common, right? When I first started my career as a personal stylist didn't exist, okay? There were fashion and celebrity stylists, and there were personal shoppers and image consultants. Those are very different jobs. I know that they all sound similar, right? But they're actually very different. So, a personal shopper goes and shops for you. Like, I need new black skirts for work. Go get me some black skirts, shopper. Personal shoppers will also buy gifts. Personal shoppers could help you buy a variety of things, a freaking car, birthday presents for your cousin. Image consultants, that is another career entirely where image consulting is more like, more scientific. That's not really the exact terminology I want to use, but image consulting is more like, if you wear orange to a job interview, there's a % chance you're not going to get the thing, and your hem on your skirt should be this many quarters of an inch, and blah, 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 blah. So those were the things that were available to the consumer that was not a celebrity or a model when I started my business. So I'm like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if regular people could still get the same experience as a celebrity would having a stylist, with more of the personalization, more of the like pizzazz, more of the high touch, high end experience that maybe they wouldn't get with an image consultant or a personal shopper. So that's when, personal styling kind of sprung onto the scene. And again, I'm going to claim some shit, because who's going to stop me? Maybe somebody will. But I'm one of the early adopters / inventors of the personal styling niche, okay? So I say that, not to brag and have my Kanye moment, but whatever. I say that is to say that when I was coming up, it wasn't normal for everyday Jane, Sue, and Mary to have a stylist. So to be able to, really explain the benefit of such a service, this is where phrases would tumble out of, I'm going to make your outsides match your insides. I'm going to help you feel more confident. You're going to be like the best possible version of yourself. And all that rah-rah language was great, okay? Now, cut to today, freaking 12, 13 years later of me being a personal stylist, training thousands and thousands of personal stylists, we're everywhere. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a personal stylist. And if we're all saying the same exact language, we don't get to stand out as a brand. And there's a reason why this is really, really crucial, not only to you as an individual being a business owner, but for the industry as a whole. So I always teach this to my students is we can't forget that having a stylist is a luxury service. Straight up. Like, I know that we want everyone to be the best versions of themselves and everyone to be confident, but our profession by nature is not that accessible. Now, there is a layer of accessibility because if you are a, celebrity, it's a given that you have a stylist, right? So it's like, oh my God, if I'm not a celebrity, I can't have a stylist. Personal styling chop that wall down to say like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You don't have to be a celebrity, but you still got to be a person who can afford a luxury that a celebrity also has access to, right? So we are still a luxury service. Now, this is a whole other topic that we'll get into in another day, but you as a stylist need to be charging appropriately, but you also have to be leveled up to actually earn those dollars. So this is why anytime I'm sharing on my Instagram stories, like wins that my students have, and I always block out how much money their package was, is mainly because I don't want y'all who haven't done the work, who haven't taken the course, to be like, oh, she charged that much, I should charge that much. None of my style bosses charge the same amount. None of them do. There is no like, I'm going to teach you how to charge this much for your package. We're all creating our packages based on a variety of factors. And if you're going to come out the gate and charge these premium high-end prices, you got to have the goods to back it up, right? You got to have the reputation, you got to have the results, Again, that's a topic for another day. But I digress. The point of me saying that is because when we all start sounding the same, that shows to the consumer that we're all the same, right? And that means that your customer can start shopping based on price. We don't want people shopping based on price. We don't want people shopping for a stylist based on what is the best deal, right? Oh, she says I'll be the best version of myself. She says I'll be the best version of myself. She says it too. Which one's cheaper? They all must be the same. I'll take the cheaper one. You want to stand out as a brand. We talked about this on a different live about having your own fresh, unique angle and like way that you do personal styling that people are like, I want to rock with her. I don't care how much it costs, right? Like there are people that I hire for my business where their presence and their brand and just the way they approach their profession, I'm like, I want them. I don't care how much it costs. I gotta have it. I gotta have it, right? But when you run across someone who's just like mediocre, generic at best, you're like, how much are they? I can shop around and find somebody cheaper probably. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have. This is another thing. We go deep all in the money stuff inside Style Boss Academy, which by the way, I just mapped out the round 3 course calendar. So dates will be coming soon of when the third intake is coming. So start saving up your coins if you're not up in the Style Boss Academy. But anyways, we talk a lot more about money there, but it doesn't matter. Like, outside of personal styling, all right, let's just use a business example for me. So let's say I want to hire a graphic designer. And I have the money to hire a graphic designer, whatever the fuck graphic designer I want, right? But if someone's coming at me with just mediocre, I'm immediately going to be looking at their pricing and being like, that seems a bit much. Even if I have the money, I can find cheaper. But when you find the best with the perspective that's like, oh my God, this is the perfect graphic designer for my business. This is the perfect photographer, videographer, assistant, whatever for my business. You're like, I don't care. I got to have it. So we want to create personal styling businesses that say, I got to have that shit. And you're not going to invoke that feeling when you're saying the same generic shit that the stylists to the left and to the right of you are saying. We need to find better ways to express our brand value, express the value of having a personal stylist. There is a better way. Okay? And the students that rock with me, the stylists that rock with me in my programs, y'all know how to find the better way. Because that's really what the program is all about. It's building a business that is sustainable and profitable. That doesn't mean I found the exact right price. That's not what makes your business sustainable and profitable. You do learn that, of course, but what does that is creating something that's so irresistible, that's so unique, that you're tapped in so deeply to the reason why you style, the people that you serve, and it's just so much magic that you could talk about it until you're blue in the face. You don't need to lean on the generic stuff. Best version of yourself. You don't need to lean on that shit because you know your magic and you can articulate your magic. This is why my students that are absolutely crushing it, it's because they kept doing the work until the lights turned on for them. Right? We got Brittany Ventura tuned in here. Hey, Brittany. And she's gone through SBA thoroughly multiple times. And every time she goes through, it's like, boom, more clarity. We have Cassia over here tuned in as well, SBAer. And she's been doing the work and the lights just came on for her thoroughly the other day. And she was like, oh my gosh, marketing's easier. Selling doesn't feel like selling. I know how to show up. I know who to, like, boom. Doesn't need to rely on these corny ass played out generic phrases. And I'm not saying this to like talk down. You're like, oh no, Lauren's calling me out. I've said that shit. I've said this shit. I've said this shit. And this is why the material that I teach my style bosses is something that you never outgrow it. And I know that sounds crazy and like a big promise, but it's true. So, I'll have people slide into my DMs. Do you have a more advanced program? Because like, I already have a business and I don't think that I'm like, girl, I've been in business for damn near 13 years now. Actually, 13 years now, not even damn near. 13 years now. I've been in business. I've made millions of dollars. I still do this work. I go through SBA because there's always a layer deeper. And the more you evolve as a person, the more you evolve as a stylist. And the more you grow up and change, your customer is going to change. The language that you use with the customer is going to change. So all of these phrases that I'm talking about today, really what it means, it's not even about the phrase. Really what it means is you got lazy. You got complacent. You took the easy way out. And the thing with the easy way out is sometimes it works. But it could work better, or it will stop working, right? So, the people that I, really rock with, the type of student that is attracted to me, they know that they're meant for so much more. Like, they know that they're meant for such big things. They can see the big giant things. So when they're like, okay, I've been using the corny ass language, I've been using the generic packages, I haven't been really tapping into my gift, my customer, etc. And I'm getting like, a decent amount of clients. I'm, making, a couple thowie a month. Feels pretty good. Making a decent salary. It's pretty good. But those people know I'm not even trying as hard as I could be, or I don't even know as much as I could know. Imagine if I actually did things like really, really right. Then what would be possible for me? That's the way that I think, because it's like, okay, if I'm doing this, imagine if. What could be possible? I remember when I first launched Style Confidence Collective. It's my online community for people who want to level up both their style and their personal development game, their career game. I created this, fun, low ticket price community, and it's amazing, right? It's just an amazing thing. And the first time I launched it, I had 250 clients join, and I didn't even know that much about having a membership, for example, as a business model. I was, at the time of that launch, it wasn't super broad. I did have a very specific niche that I was targeting, but there was some of that confidence, da 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 da. I mean, it is called Style Confidence Collective, right? But I'm like, ooh, what if I can tap in deeper to the women that are in here? How many more people could I have? If we're getting 250 people right off the jump, not knowing a lot, what can we do when we know more? So it's peeling back, getting deeper, getting clearer. It's a constant thing. So don't take this as an attack. Take it as an opportunity to be yeah, how could I articulate my services without saying these words? It's not as easy as it sounds because I'd be beating it down hard in SBA, and we've got whole workbooks and exercises to get in it. And the students will still come up with I figured out my thing. I help women be the most confident versions of themselves. I'm no, go deeper. What the fuck? You did it again. You did it again. You've conditioned your mind to be a basic bitch stylist when you are so far from that. If you have the creativity to be a stylist, right? You have the creativity, you have the desire to be an entrepreneur, you got some special sauce that not too many people have. You're creative, okay? You're creative. You can put fly ass outfits together. You're creative, which means you can get past those generic phrases, but it takes some work. Brittany's in the chat saying, yeah, it's harder than it sounds. It is. But the payoff is so great. The payoff is so great because you're going to find that you start attracting these magical unicorn clients that are just the greatest pleasure to work with. these magical unicorn clients that pay you what you ask, and sometimes they want to pay you more. One of my style bosses who's graduated into my mastermind, we were putting together this virtual package. And she's like, I think this should be the price. I'm not sure. I said, let's start it at this price. And let's, when you get confident enough, let's move it up. And she hit me up yesterday. She charged the higher price, closed immediately. And the client was like, can you make me a package where I can just pay for an entire year's worth of working with you as a stylist? An entire year? Not one package, a year's worth of packages? That's insane. Insanely awesome. Not a word of her marketing is this generic, corny, best version of yourself shit, because I beat it out of her. When she used that language, she was getting $200 for a package. Now she's getting thousands and thousands of dollars for a package, and the damn client wants to sign up for a year's worth of styling services. This is why this work matters so much. If you are sitting here and you're a personal stylist and you spend all this energy on your Instagram feed, you spend all this energy stressing about when the next client's gonna come, when you can have enough money to quit your job, when this thing's really gonna pop for you. You're looking at other stylists and being like, they must be lying. There's no way they're charging that much, making that much, doing this much. There's no fucking way. Get out of your corny bubble. Treat this profession seriously. That's another thing. I only got 4 minutes before my next call, so this might have to be a fresh live later. In fact, it will be. I'll just give you a little prequel right now, and I'm going to jot in my notes to make this a full live. You have to take the profession of being a personal stylist seriously. Just because shopping, dressing people comes so natural to you, and it's so fun that you wouldn't charge money for it, like I would do this for free. It's so fun. Just because you have that, which is a huge blessing, most people don't get to have that feeling with what they could potentially monetize and make a living off of. But just because you have that doesn't mean that you don't take your business seriously. And when I say serious, I mean if you were opening up a store, right? If you were starting a consulting company for high-end executives to help their businesses scale, whatever, insert business here. Any business like that, you would be studying, you would be investing in seminars, you would be hiring the best coaches, you would be doing everything it took to make that business work. You would be putting in money, to get a loan, or you would be setting up an LLC, or you would be getting incorporated. Like, that's what you would be doing. But for some reason, when it comes to personal styling, all of you guys who want to be stylists or who are, but aren't crushing it, you don't want to do anything to make your businesses better. Could you imagine you want to open up like a brick and mortar business and you're like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slide in the DMs of Neiman Marcus and be like, so how'd you build your department store? Can you give me any tips over DM? You would fucking never. You would do everything you could to seriously learn how to build a brick and mortar retail establishment. If you wanted to start a department store, you would do everything in your power to learn from the best people, to do the things required to do it. But for some damn reason, when it comes to styling, you're like, how can I do the bare ass minimum, which is fucking nothing, which is like, let me hustle up some free advice. Let me just put together an Instagram and be like, look, here's my business. Let's put up a website and be like, look, here's my styling business. Foolish. If you want to make real money doing this for a living and you want this to be your living, You have to seriously think about every single step of your business, from the generic shit you say and don't say to how you structure your business, everything. We're going to do a full live on that because unfortunately I can't keep going on this Lauren rant because I do have a call. But very important thing to think about, right? All in, absolutely. So we will continue this conversation when I'm finished with my calls. Maybe we'll continue it today or maybe we'll continue it tomorrow. We'll see. But the conversation needs to be had. But first step is just to mull over those phrases. And I also put it in a feed post, the phrases. So just do a little reflection on that. Do a little reflection, and I'll catch you on the next live.